Salvatore Mundi. The painting Salvatore Mundi, which shows Jesus Christ, made big news when it was sold for a whopping $450 million. It's now called the most expensive painting ever sold. Leonardo da Vinci, the famous artist, painted it back in the 15th century. Many experts believe it's one of the best artworks ever made. The painting shows Jesus with his right hand raised and his left hand holding a crystal ball. There's a lot of deep meaning in the painting, and it's a masterpiece of art. Found in the mid-1900s, it has been cleaned and restored since then. Its beauty shows how talented Da Vinci and the restoration team were. People have talked a lot about this painting. In 1958, the masterpiece, unrecognized by experts, was sold at auction for some $60. In 2005, its value increased to $10,000. It was bought by a group of art critics who saw the potential in it and proved that it was the original of a famous work. In 2013, just 8 years later, the price tag of the canvas skyrocketed to $127.5 million. The buyer is a Russian billionaire and a well-known art connoisseur, Dmitry Rybolovlev. In 2017, the X moment came. The painting was sold at Christie's auction for a record amount of $450 million. The buyer is the UAE government, which added the painting to the collection exhibition of the Louvre, Abu Dhabi. Interchange. Abstract painting by the American expressionist artist Willem de Kooning. In 1955, he sold it to Edgar Kaufman for $4,000. In 1989, a Japanese dealer decided to purchase it. The painting sold for $20.7 million at Sotheby's auction. In 1990, it ended up with music producer David Geffen. The amount was not disclosed, but it was greatly underestimated. In 2015, it was purchased by an American investor for a record $300 million, making the painting the most expensive in the world until 2017. You can see it at the Art Institute of Chicago. The Card Players. The Card Players is a famous painting by Paul Cézanne. In it, he painted 5 guys playing cards around a table. Each man has a different facial expression, from calm to deep in thought. This painting really shows Cézanne's unique style and skill. Even though there are clear brush strokes and the background is simple, it's a great example of his work. This painting isn't just special because it looks good. It's also super expensive. One version of it sold for a whopping $259 million. Created in 1892, The Card Players has been wowing art lovers for a long time. Number 17A. The painting was painted almost at the equator of the 20th century, 1948, by the great artist from the USA, Jackson Pollock. Like the rest of the works, it was painted not with a brush, but with sprayed and ground aluminum paints. In 1949, he could be seen on the cover of Life magazine. In 2015, it was sold to Kenneth Cordell Griffin. Interesting fact, number 17A is considered to be Pollock's most expensive painting, which cost $200 million. Violet, Green, Red. This belongs to the most sparkling, elongated, and beneficial art by the Latvian-American metaphysical artistic movement, Mark Rothko. This portrait was accomplished in 1951. Rothko's concentration seems to be well for his chroma field research. No. 6, Violet, Green, and Red, depicts substantial sectors of both the 3 primary colors in gritty and sketchy sonorities. Rothko's motivational factor was to plunge his viewing audience mostly into definitions of his diverse art pieces by assembling one another on sizable canvases. The above art's perceptions of the patterns, it is what makes it so compelling. Until 2014, it was with H.B. Piker. Dmitry Rybolovlev, a Russian venture capitalist who acquired it in a recondite exchange from Yves Bouvier, a Swiss entrepreneur, reimbursed a staggering $186 million for it. Pendant portrait of Martin Suman and Upchen Cupid. The photo of Martin Suman by the proficient Dutch warlord German artist Rembrandt van Rijn is a sculpture in its claim. The oil is a canvas artwork with either an expected revenue of $180 million. The oil captures Martin Suman, a grossly overweight Dutch descendant, in a respectful masquerade. From 1878 to 2015, the canvas was in the Rothschild family. In 2015, the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, together with the Louvre Museum in Paris, bought the canvases for alternate exhibitions. Les Femmes d'Alger, version O. Such an invented portrait belongs to the achievements of famous Spanish artist Pablo Picasso's Les Femmes d'Alger succession. The sequence subsisted stimulated either by the 1834 art The Ladies of Algeria and With Their Penthouse, by Eugene Delacroix. There still are 9 paints mostly in succession that are highly rated, variant C, F, H, J, K, L, M, N, and O. While each of the significant art pieces has all been auctioned at extortionate prices and allowed to hold in intricate and also general populace collections, Edition O developed the designation of most valuable art among people. It was kept by Victor Gans from USA until 1997. The very last artwork in Picasso's pastiche succession to his renowned work of art, Eugène Delacroix, version O of Les Femmes d'Alger, must have been raffled at Christie's for $179.4 million. In 2015, the premature Qatari Prime Minister, Hamad bin Jassim bin Jaber Al Thani, assumed charge of Picasso's fallacious structure. Wasserschlangen II. Gustav Klimt's art Wasserschlangen II is a beneficial artistic creation. It was developed in 1904 as part of his exciting canvases sequence. The artist painted a cheerful woman girded by a tense swarm of serpents. The woman is interpreted to represent an unobstructed view, although the serpents symbolize infinity. The picture is composed of oil on canvas and gems on oil, and therefore is currently on display at the Österreichische Galerie Belvedere in Vienna. The art is perceived as one of Klimt's more valuable workshops among the most beneficial arts ever sold. It bought drugs for a stunning $180 million in 2006, trying to manufacture the most cherished art ever heavily involved by an Austrian creator. The beauty has a hauntingly beautiful beauty, which then enchants the passerby, making one of Gustav Klimt's very many desirable fragments. In 1911, Jenny Steiner bought the painting from Klimt. In 1940, Gustav's illegitimate son decided to purchase it. In 2012, Yves Bouvier was able to negotiate with the heirs of Jenny Steiner and Gustav Uchitsky and privately bought from them Water Snake's second for billionaire Rybolovlev. A number of sources report that the transaction amount is estimated at $183 million. In 2015, a Russian businessman sold a canvas for $170 million. Nukuch. The latter represents one of the most vital illustrations in the acquisition of the Italian painter and sculptor Amedeo Clemente Modigliani, mostly in the globe of innovative and modern craft. He was perceived as an aesthetic. Unlike many other artists at that moment, his focus was still on photos and trinkets with his Art Nouveau tone. Nu couche is a French phrase which translates as raw, comfy recliner, and it is the kidney of Modigliani's art. This 60 centimeters to 92 centimeters art piece on art piece commanded the maximum price of $170.4 million at Christie's in 2015, when the British auction site was considering an entire global record for Modigliani's oils. A Chinese husband and wife from Shanghai, Liu Yiqian and Wang Wei, tried to purchase the art with an American Express card for their residential exhibition. Na Fea Faa Poipo, or When is the Wedding? A work by Paul Gauguin, created by him while in Tahiti around 1892. On the canvas are the faces of local girls in whom Paul found a muse and inspiration. In 2015, it was sold to representatives of the royal family of Qatar for $210 million. For some time, the cost of the painting was overestimated, almost to $300 million. However, during a legal dispute related to the fees, information about the exact amount was made public.